ABC News, I'm Chuck Stevenson. Wall Street surged a day after the Federal Reserve cut a key interest rate. The ripple effect usually lowers car, mortgage, and other loans. Freddie Mac announced that 30-year fixed-rate mortgages have dropped to 6.09%. Celebrating the good economic news, President Biden at the Economic Club of Washington.
Interest rates are going to be coming down, and they're expected to go down further. And that's a good place for us to be.
The president also noting wages and employment are up, inflation's down. On Wall Street, the Dow up more than 500 points, closing above 42,000 for a new record. The S&P 500 topping 5,700, another new record high for that index. In the presidential campaign, Vice President Harris in a live stream with Oprah Winfrey and Donald Trump attending an event with prominent Jewish donors and then with the Israeli-American Council. Nearly 1,200 Boston hotel workers have joined a nationwide strike. This is ABC News.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Need cash help but have bad or no credit? Then you need to go to FastLoansAI.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 regardless of your credit score. FastLoansAI.com is one of the largest lender networks. Their advanced technology can help anyone get up to $10,000. Best part? Money can be in your bank account as fast as the same day. When you need fast cash, go to FastLoansAI.com. That's FastLoansAI.com.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-885-9500. That's 1-800-885-9500. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-885-9500. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Here we go! From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex, this is the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with Gun Billy Derry. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a hot Thursday, right at the end of summer. I think it's 2 days from now that we move into fall, but judging by the forecast, not for a while. Anyway, we got a good show for you today. Danny Evans to talk some baseball in the 4 o'clock hour, underdog picks during the 5, but let's move quickly to Murfreesboro and say hello to Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, what's going on?
I don't know it, George. What's happening?
I'm good.
Other than it being hot.
It is hot. And I'll tell you,
hot, but it's not humid. I told you that yesterday. It's not that humid. Well,
it's hot. We need rain.
We do.
Whew, my backyard looks like Steiner Liff.
I heard an interesting thing yesterday. I was listening to the radio.
Mm-hmm.
509 million gallons of water Tennessee uses a day. Can you believe that? 509 million gallons.
Wow.
Crazy. Useless stat, I know. I'm just
That's why we got Kelly on the show.
Yeah, where did you get that?
I was just listening. I listen to stuff all the time about nutrition and about things
Yeah.
like that, and I heard that 509 million gallons of water a day used by Tennesseans.
There we go.
I don't know if that one's counting, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's hard to tell. Billy, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I'm excited for a little football tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Is that UT orange?
No, it looks like
Texas
it in
orange?
this. It does look orange in this picture. I don't know why, but it's more of
Well,
a
because the shirt is orange.
no. It's more of a peach.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of red in it.
Peach. That fits you perfect. Peach. You're a Georgia peach, Billy.
So, Kelly, big game tonight involving Battleground Academy.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to find out if they're for real. They take on a really good CPA team and a really good coach in Ingle Martin.
Ingle is really good, and his coaching staff does a really good job, and he likes to smash mouth football. That's what he likes to do.
And that concerns me.
Yes, it better.
Clash of styles.
We could use about 4 fumbles. Shall we check in with Terry McCormick?
Let's do it.
Daily Titans update. Terry, I can't tell where he is. It doesn't appear to be the palatial Westmoreland mansion, which is nearly 10,000 square feet.
Still here at the Titans facility, George.
Well, that's lovely. That is really very special. I would suggest get out of there and get a life.
Yes, that's what I intend to do as soon as I hang up with you guys.
So what is the big news of the day out there?
Well, the big news of the day is that this team appears to be almost completely and fully healthy, which is something we've not been able to say very much of the previous 2 or 3 years. And so in that regard, everybody was available on the practice field. The only guy not out there was practice squad linebacker Luke Gifford, who has been promoted a couple times from the practice squad to help out on special teams, and Lord knows they can use some help. So we'll see if he can get back out there tomorrow and be able to give it a go. The bigger news is coming out of Green Bay, where Jordan Love has been limited, shall we say, for the last 2 days up in Green Bay. Now, I happen to think it's a smoke screen. I think that it's probably way too early for Jordan Love to try and come back from that knee injury that he suffered in the season opener. But you got to keep all options open in preparation if you're the Titans. And so they're going to have to keep in the back of their mind the possibility that it could be Jordan Love that they face on Sunday instead of Malik Willis.
Yeah, and that's part of the deal, is to force a coaching staff to prepare for 2 pretty different styles, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have mobility, but certainly if Jordan Love is able to go, he's probably not going to have that mobility that he normally would. And there's certainly going to be a lot more trusting of having him throw the ball into tight windows and down the field, maybe than they would be with Malik Willis. I think the advantage that the Titans have in this situation where Green Bay is trying to make them prepare for both guys is they know Malik Willis like the back of their hand because he's been here for the past 2 years. And even though this is a new staff, they had him all through the offseason and all through training camp. And a good number of the players on the team on this defense still know exactly what type of player Malik Willis is and what his tendencies are.
To quote an NFL line, it's a game time decision. Probably is.
Probably is. I think the Packers are going to play this out for as long as they can. My guess is that Love will make the trip here and they'll warm him up before the game and see what he feels like and make the decision from there. But to me, it's still a long shot because they've got a big division game coming up against the Vikings the next week. The last thing you'd want to do would be to put a hobbled Jordan Love out there on the field, have him suffer some sort of setback again and not be able to play against your top division rival.
Billy, why would you be breaking into a segment where you have not been invited?
I've got what I think is a really good question.
Well, it better be, right, Kelly?
I agree, Billy.
Because Kelly can't even butt in.
Be quiet.
Let's hear it.
If Malik Willis starts this game, can the Packers beat the Titans?
Sure. If the Titans continue to lose the turnover battle, they absolutely can. I think the Packers will do their best to play it close to the vest, much like they did against the Colts. Now, they may find the rushing yards a little harder to come by than they did against Indianapolis's defense, which was missing DeForest Buckner in the middle and certainly left some soft spots there for the Packers and Josh Jacobs to run through. But if the Titans cannot stay close and win the turnover battle, then certainly they could lose to Malik Willis and the Packers on Sunday. It's not out of the realm of possibility at all.
Kelly, I didn't think it was a great question, but it wasn't bad.
It's okay, but there's a lot, Terry. There's a lot of pressure on the Titans with this. Like, if they lose to Malik Willis, if he comes in there and plays well and they lose, man, that's a lot of pressure that they're going to have to accept and talk about.
It's going to take a while to live that one down. You're exactly right. If they were to lose to Malik Willis, a guy that they essentially gave up on for a 7th round pick, that would certainly have a lot of eyebrows raised in terms of those that are, around the Titans and following the Titans, because everybody's already, hot and bothered because of the way that they lost the first 2 games. So if you don't win this one, you go down 0-3, then you're certainly behind the 8 ball, and it would take a miracle turnaround just to salvage anything from the season.
Terry, I would suggest that you get to the stadium Sunday morning around 5 a.m., pull a Sal Palantonio, and then you'll be the one that gets the scoop on whether Jordan Love is playing or not.
The only problem is the stadium is locked at that time, George.
Well, knock on the damn thing, bang on it. How does Sal Pal get in?
He has connections.
I think you're right. See you tomorrow.
See ya.
Terry McCormick with his daily Titans update. Terry, of course, Main Street Media. Now, Billy, tell us the update has meat on the bone.
It's got some meat on the bone.
Yeah,
this is what everybody's been waiting on.
Yeah.
Well, it's really Danny Evans is what everybody's waiting on.
No, I do think that.
I'm waiting on Danny, too. But we do have some news in the update. It's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. Log on to mortgageladyusa.com or give her a call, 615-969-4350. Jets are 6-point favorites tonight over the Patriots. That is on Amazon Prime Video. So good luck. I don't have that. I don't think you do either.
I got it. I know George doesn't. I have it.
Kelly's got it.
Okay, great.
Would you guys like to come over? Guess what?
You're
not invited.
I was going to say, I didn't think Kelly would ever ask that question.
My answer is not no, but hell no.
Yeah, you're not invited. So stay put.
Right.
Well, we do have some other NFL news. Lions head coach Dan Campbell.
Miss Holcomb, we're here.
Dan Campbell is selling his house in Detroit for more privacy. He came out and said there's plenty of space. It's on 2 acres and the home is beautiful. It's just that people figured out where we lived when we lost. Campbell's home address was leaked to the public, and his family had been pranked and harassed after Lions losses. The family has filed police reports. Him and his wife, Holly, listed their house in Bloomfield Hills for $4.5 million this week. Mm-hmm. So that's
some interesting home news.
Yes. In college football, Quinn Ewers still recovering from an oblique injury. This is no surprise, but Arch Manning will make his first career start for Texas on Saturday night against poor old UL Monroe.
Oh, tired old Monroe.
But not that tired this year.
Oh,
Kelly's saying don't sleep on them.
What, have they got a new doctrine?
Well, not against Texas. Not against Texas.
So why are they mouthing off?
Yeah, so their defensive coordinator, Ernest Hill, said, we have some kids on our team who played against him in New Orleans, Arch Manning, and a couple of guys done beat him already. So they don't hold too much fear against him. They won't hold any fear against him coming up here.
What a dope. Why would you say that?
He played it the Newman Greenies. I remember Peyton talking about it. They're like a single A private school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not hard to beat them.
Yeah. Go watch Arch Manning's highlights, but the Longhorns are 44.5-point favorites.
Why would he have said that?
I don't know.
Dumb.
Because if you're Arch, you're already
that is dumb.
A little nervous probably going into it, and you see that, and maybe it's reassuring. I get to play against kids I played in high school.
Warhawks, baby. Warhawks.
The Warhawks. Tennessee, Oklahoma on Saturday. Not that I don't think you care about this, George, but country music star Blake Shelton will be the celebrity guest picker.
I'll probably watch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's from Oklahoma.
Okay.
He's from Ada, Oklahoma.
They have a lot of tornadoes.
Yeah. You ever been to Oklahoma?
Yeah, I did a Sounds 3-game series years ago in Oklahoma City, and let me tell you, in the summer, nowhere hotter than Oklahoma City.
It's gonna be hot.
But I tell
there.
you this, Oklahoma City is a beautiful place. I ate at Mickey Mantle's restaurant.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Mickey Mantle.
How far? Let me ask you this: how far is where's
Norman.
Oklahoma? Norman.
It's
how far is
it's
Norman?
about an hour south of Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
Right?
it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
In golf, Kelly, I think you probably saw this earlier today. The PGA announced that LIV golfers are now eligible to compete in both the PGA Championship and the Ryder Cup going forward. Brooks Koepka was part of last year's Ryder Cup team because of a grace period that allowed him to remain a PGA member through 2024, but no one knew how the split would be handled. This clears the way for Bryson DeChambeau, who is third on the U.S. points list for the Ryder Cup, even though he didn't play in any of the PGA Tour events. So
if I'm one of the golfers who didn't flee, I'm pissed.
Me too. I'm pissed now, and I'm not even a golfer.
and I'm definitely not a golfer.
But we talked about, I didn't think that would ever happen, that they would allow that, but PGA succumbed to that. We're going to talk some baseball with Danny Evans, but the Braves earlier today put up 15 runs in Cincinnati. Michael Harris hit 2 home runs, and the Braves set a franchise record with 4 3-run homers, which doesn't happen often.
Now,
but the Reds are awful.
Let me say this. The bottom line that's important here is that in this series, they've gotten 2 vitally important hitters hot, and that's Matt Olson. And the other is Marcell Ozuna, who had been through about a 26-game streak without a homer. They need him to unload, and today he did.
Well, the last spot for that NL wildcard race, well, really all 3 spots are, you could argue, still up for grabs, but the Mets have that second spot. Diamondbacks have the third spot. Braves are a game and a half back right now.
Yeah.
From the D-backs in that final spot, but they got a series coming up starting Friday against the Marlins in Miami. So,
okay,
that's what we got.
We done?
Yep.
Can't wait to hear from Danny Evans, who tells me he has got some good Braves intel. We'll find out what that is when we come back. You are listening to the George Plaster Show.
It was the most horrible experience that any mother could ever go through. I knew that I needed to get help. My friend, she immediately said, "You need to call Bart Durham." And you guys were there within an hour. You guys are like family for us.
Yeah, sure is nice to connect with the people that you're doing your best to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5688.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donley Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com. Activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
We are back, and this has been the case during the summer as we've had Danny Evans on. We'll try to open up the phone lines around 4:40 for some of your baseball questions. Let's bring him up here. Danny, what kind of Braves intel have you got for me?
Well, George, I watched your boys play today, and here's what I took from that game that was real critical. And first of all, great to see all three of you guys again. You know, they go out, they trump they really play well, swing the bats well against the Reds. But because of the score, they were able to get Sale out after 93 pitches in 5 innings.
Yes.
He was on turn to go Wednesday. Coming out early, and if he feels good tomorrow, he could pitch the first game of the series against the Mets on Tuesday on 4 days rest. Did a little homework. He's done that 6 or 7 times this year already. And that would also, George, give him a chance to pitch Sunday if they have to win to get in a week from Sunday. You know, next week's series against the Mets, for 2 reasons, is huge. They have to win the tiebreaker against the Mets. They've got to win 2 or 3 because the series is tied at 5. But also for the wild card itself, there's 4 clubs going for 3 spots. They have to win every game they can, not only the weekend series in Miami, but the key for me is the ability to win the 2 or 3 or all 3 against the Mets. And what that would do, George, if they wanted to do it, it would let them start Sale on Tuesday and not put Schwellenbach in a position he's never been in before. It would be a real difficult thing to ask of a young pitcher, even though he's been terrific. So I think managing the game like they did gave them the options that they now have, getting out of the gate so well today. And, you know, with Olsen and Harris having such big games, they are set up for a great last 10 days of the season.
Man, you have been reading my my body language over the last 2 or 3 hours as I sort of played that game. The schedule certainly does favor them. Let me talk a little past this. You worked with Alex Anthopoulos. I believe there hasn't been a general manager that I would want more than him. And he has been darn near dead letter perfect since he's gotten to Atlanta. Finally, this winter, it looks like he may have hit a little bit of a rough patch. Jared Kelenic, who has had all the pub, and this guy's a budding superstar and blah, 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 is hitting 229. And I guess I want to hear from you. How do you think they play him for next year?
Well, I'll tell you, I liked the deal when they made it. Kelnick is a really terrific talent who just has not put it together with two different clubs. When the Mets moved him in the deal for Diaz with the Mariners, a lot of people thought that the Mariners got the better end of the deal. But then Kelnick didn't play well in Seattle and has struggled at times in Atlanta. 229 isn't as bad as it used to be with a 242 overall league BA. So I'm a little careful on that, George, but I still think he's a player. I mean, he made a couple of really big contributions when Harris was down.
Yes.
Where he was able to play center field, got some big hits and made a couple of really good catches. Obviously, there was one that wasn't so good that a lot of us remember, but I think he's a guy I'd still play on, and I'd still try to see what I can do. I would just make sure I'm protected in left field. But I think if you think about that deal, George, Chris Sale in the previous 5 years had won 17 games. He won his 18th game of the season today. He's 18-3 with nearly a 2.0 ERA. That's masterful. And I remember when we talked about that deal on the air, and we loved it because it was a low-risk, high-yield trade. He's just picked up the Cy Young Award winner. The other thing, George, people love to play in Atlanta. They're a contender. One of the reasons I went to work for the Braves is because Alex is an absolute just maniac when it comes to winning. I mean, he is focused, possessed, always thinking. Players understand that. The players like the coaching staff. They're not going to have any problem adding players. It's a matter of who do they keep, who do they shed this offseason.
Do you think they re-sign Max Fried?
I do. I think it's going to be
hard. Really?
Yeah, I think they're going to make a strong play on him. But, George, there's going to be 30 teams all over this guy. I mean, he's got a great agent. I think you're going to see every contending team in baseball all over him. But I have never heard of anything that Max didn't like playing in Atlanta. The kid's a winner, and the kid wants to win. There aren't many environments better than the Braves, and there aren't many teams that are more ready to win over the next 5 to 7 years. And a key, George, too, just keep in mind, Albies is back this weekend. They'll have Lopez eligible next week. That Braves club is getting better by the day, and I think their timing is impeccably good.
Oh, I'll admit that I'm getting a little fired up about it. Off what I've seen. What do you do next year about Lopez, who was terrific, but it feels like, structurally that he may be out of gas?
Well, we'll know that next week. He's eligible to come off Thursday of next week. But the Lopez I saw this week was the best I've seen him since early in his career. His stuff is so good. George, his command was elite. I mean, his command was outstanding. And when he commands his fastball, his breaking stuff and his changeup make him a dominant pitcher at times. Keep in mind, George, he came in as their 5th starter. There were questions about what his role would be. He not only won the job, but he literally became the ace of the staff. And I think one of the problems the Braves have this year is Morton, is going to be 41 next year. Lopez is who he is. Fried's a free agent. They've got some difficult pitching decisions to make. But George, in an offensive era, and I'm saying offensive, okay? Offensive offense is probably the way to say it. They've got the bats, and they've got them lined up. They'll get Acuna back. I think people forget, this guy's the reigning MVP. And this guy's been out almost all season long, and they're contending for a playoff job without their top starter and without their top player. It's an extraordinary thing to be here 10 days out and have a shot to still make the playoffs.
Kelly, I'm fired up. Let's go.
I know. I was hoping the intel that he had was that you were kicked out of Truist Park forever. That's what I was hoping.
Wow.
Well, they wouldn't announce that, Kelly, because then he'd read it, right?
You are such a team player.
So, Danny, enough about the Braves. Good gracious. Okay, so if you're the GM of the White Sox, what do you do with that situation? First off, do you take the job if they want you to come in as the GM? Next off, where do you start? I mean, because they've got the worst team since the 62 Mets that came in as an expansion team?
Oh, if he only knew, Danny.
And Kelly, they are the worst team in the modern era. They're going to lose 122 to 124 games. They're horrifically bad. And guys, they weren't tanking for the first round pick because the collective bargaining agreement doesn't allow them to pick until the 10th pick because they've participated in the lottery the last couple years. So it wasn't masterful tanking. It was just terrible roster management over a long period of time, a horrific farm system, and just really bad decisions. Have you
read the article in the Athletic?
Oh my! There were no bodies left after that one.
Oh my God! Can you say napalm?
I thought Brittany and Ken Rosenthal did a fabulous job just capturing the moment. But Kelly, this has been in the making the last few years. Now, that's my hometown. If I were the GM of the White Sox right now, I'd make sure I spent a lot of time on the north side of town so people didn't recognize me, just because it's a disaster. It's an utter disaster. Folks, the article that George is referring to is in the Athletic today. It's so damaging. And it's also, for me, just so telling about where they are as a franchise. Would I be interested, Kelly? Hell yes, I'd be interested. That's my hometown. I worked there for 20 years. I'd be able to rebuild it, but the only way I would do it is if I were able to do it my way and not the way they've been doing things over the last few years. There's no way that I would come in there, given their current situation, and keep status quo, because that is a losing situation.
Where do you start, though? I mean, are there minor leagues bad? Like, where do you start at, Danny?
The minor leagues are terrible. I think you go to a fireworks store or a explosive store, you go into the clubhouse, and you start taking care of things. You hire a new manager, you hire staff, you have to change the culture. And if there's ever, you two guys are really savvy sports people. There's never been a better environment to come in with, because there's going to be no pushback on change after you set a major league record. Kelly, the Mets were an expansion team, and they could only take teams from the National League in the expansion draft because the American League had expanded the year before. So their horrific 120 loss season is nowhere near where it is with the White Sox. The White Sox were trying to put together a good club, and this is what they did. It's masterfully poor.
Kelly, Pogue is begging you to ask a Milwaukee Brewer question.
I'm not you have Pogue call up and ask a Milwaukee Brewer question, because I'm not.
That's
that question.
That's fair enough, Pogue.
Ohtani stole his 50th base earlier this hour. So he's halfway there.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, so he's got 40. What is he? Is he still stuck at 47 homers?
48.
I think he's 48.
Oh, he's got 48.
50. And for listeners, it's never been done in the history of the game. Whereas the White Sox are the absolute darkest moments, Ohtani is doing something that's never been accomplished in the history of the sport. Only one player's ever done 42-42 other than him. So what we have here is not only history, it's not a stat fiend type thing. This is an absolute incredible historical achievement, and he is in the prime of his career.
And that's one thing I was going to ask, because I was looking at the Major League Baseball website, and I was looking at all these records that are coming up, which is kind of incredible. I mean, y'all have already talked about Chris Sale, about, he's got a chance to be the Triple Crown winner in the National League. What about the kid from the Tigers, the Tariq? Is it Skubal? How do you say his name?
He's so good. Started the All-Star game for the American League. And you know what, Kelly? Great point. The Tigers are half a game out of the wild card.
Yeah,
that's what I love.
quietly.
And we talked about that 2 or 3 weeks ago on the show. I did mention I thought they were a sleeper to sneak up, and sadly, George, I also said the Metsies at that time were one of the teams. So what we have in Skubal is an elite young arm in his prime who has pitched his way likely to the Cy Young Award in the American League. But what he's really done, Kelly, is give them a guy every 5 days that has them poised to contend in the last week of the season. It's a great story in Detroit.
So my last question is, talking about records, Shohei's doing what he's doing, but like Aaron Judge, how consistent is he? I mean, he's got a chance to be, is it a 700 slugging percentage like since Barry Bonds did it in 2001 to 2004, and I think there were 4 guys that did it in 2001, but that's pretty huge. I mean, he's been really consistent, and he's got a chance to hit another 60 home runs.
Kelly, and he's doing it without any assistance like Bonds did and like some of the other guys. I mean, the steroid era, those numbers are hard to decipher whether they're real or not. This guy has a chance to hit 60 playing center field on a division championship club. That's an extraordinary team and individual performance. He has had 2 of the last 3 years some of the greatest performances we've seen in the expansion era. And he plays center field now. This guy is a heck of a player. He's fun to watch. I mean, I love him as a human being, but as a player, Kelly, he's doing some amazing stuff. And he's not doing it as an individual. That club has the best record in the American League. So he's a team player doing great things. I think it's a great story for baseball.
Okay, we're going to go to the break, and then we're going to open the phones. Pogue better call, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. Got 3 lines to fill. Let's see if we can do it. 615-844-5600. Again, 615-844-5600. We will take your baseball phone calls for Danny Evans, and we'll do it next. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
Over the years, more men have started to seek help for hormone deficiencies and imbalances. And Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and wife Daphne, along with their experienced staff, give men the treatment required to improve their quality of life, improve your immune system, energy level, cognitive function, and more. There's no better time to achieve a healthy lifestyle. What are you waiting for? Give Cool Springs MD a call today for an appointment at 615-486-3458 or visit the website coolspringsmd.com.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you need to contact Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you are a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. Check them out today at pancoastbenefits.com or call 615-292-3400.
Get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Loaded baseball lines for the man. Kelly, I hope you will check your text message there as I go to Tony in Nolensville. Tony, say hello to Danny Evans.
Hello, Danny Evans. It's a pleasure talking to you again, my buddy. You there, Danny?
I'm here.
Yeah, that's my bad, Danny.
Yeah, okay.
That's all right. That's one way to shut me up. I like it, Billy.
Danny, the Cubs they obviously going to fall short and not make it to the wild card. And the series that they had when they come home, they had won 6 on the road, then come home and lost 4 out of 6 to the Diamondbacks and the Pirates. I think that about did them in. And then this week, losing 2 out of 3 to the A's at home. You know, I just think that's when you stick a fork in them and you just realize it's not going to happen. So, and kudos to the Brewers, Pogue's Brewers, and Pat Murphy. I think he ought to be National League Coach of the Year, no doubt. But with the Cubs, do you think they get rid of Bellinger? Bellinger, I think he is on his way out, maybe even before the end of the season. And do they need to rebuild with going after some better pitching, stronger pitching, or some power hitting? And I will see what your take is on that and see where they're at. But it's been a fun year to watch them. I just hope they finish over 500. Thank you, George, for taking the call. And Danny, I'll listen to your answer. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Tony. And Danny, it's been a weird year up there because the wind is always blowing in this year at Wrigley.
You know, it blows in more than it blows out, George. That's what people don't realize. You know, we have this image of Wrigley Field, but as a native Chicagoan and a guy who worked for the team for about 7 months, I can tell you Wrigley Field is more of a pitcher's park than a hitter's park, except on those rare summer blowout days. I think the Cubs are in a tough spot, Tony. I think they're built to win now. They made a couple of really good moves in the offseason, but I think their division is improving. Milwaukee is a formidable club. You know, kudos to Pat Murphy, a great friend of mine for 30 plus years. He's just a terrific manager. But I think you've got 5 really good clubs in that division, and they're going to have to play better against their own division to be a better team in 25. Bellinger, heck, I don't know. I'm just not certain about what their thinking is with him. But the key for them, if they don't add some more pitching, they will not be a much better club next year.
Okay, let's go to Pogue, who is a happy camper, and rightfully so. Greg, I saw Jake Bauers hit last night live, and it really was a very cool moment. Congratulations.
Well, first off, thank you. Danny, I do the show before players, and I'm going to be on with him with the Silly Underdog picks at 5. And My Brewers, I went to all 7 games of the 1982 World Series, same age as Robin Yount. What they did in allowing Hank Aaron to come back and finish there got my eye. And I went 25 years. So, yeah, I'm 3 out of 4 division titles, 7 out of 8 playoffs, 1 game out of 8 in a row. Pat Murphy, that story. But in Mark Anastasio, he's the perfect owner for that city. He's committed to winning, and he'll put the money up for the smallest market. That's question A, the ownership. And then number 2, Jackson Churio. I don't know if you saw, they brought a stroller into the celebration with, no beer, alcoholic, less beer for him because he's only 20 years old. He has a whole year. He might be the rookie of the year. In my mind, he's Roberto Clemente Jr. He reminds me so much of him, just how so recklessly he plays the game at 20 years old. And I'll hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
Are you a first-time caller?
First time yet? No, I'll be calling in 20 minutes.
First time.
It's a great
today.
story. The Brewers do it well. Think about it. They lost their top executive, and they lost their top pitcher this year. And look where they are. They're going to win 92 to 94 games. I think they're a formidable club in the postseason. I love Mark Antanasio. I've known him for 20-plus years. He's a Los Angeles guy. He was trying to buy the Dodgers when I was with the Dodgers. I met with him. I was so impressed with him, and I'm extremely impressed with what he's done in Milwaukee. They have top to bottom one of the better organizations in the game. And I think in Churio, you have one. You're right. He's one of the best players in the game. Exciting two-way guy with all kinds of energy. And if you think about it, he is the youngest stud in the game today. And he's already signed. He's got a long-term deal. This kid is part of the future of the Brewers, and it's really an exciting time.
Gut feeling. Do you think last night Craig Counsell sort of sat there in his hotel room or wherever and said, why did I do this?
You know what? And Kelly's been there as a player. I mean, I had done the same thing as an executive. It's hard because you have relationships there, and you also know you were part of the building blocks there. But he made a conscious decision to move on to Chicago. His agent is a Chicago guy. He did well for himself. He's the highest paid manager in the game. But I guarantee, George, there was a part of him in that clubhouse. But Pat Murphy is carrying his sword in that clubhouse because Pat's been his buddy for years. He was his coach in college. So there's no animosity there whatsoever. I just think there's some vibes because it didn't turn out as they thought it was going to be.
Bill in Tampa, Florida, say hello to Danny Evans.
Well, hello, Danny. I thought I'd throw you a curveball from Georgia's fastballs on the Braves and talk about the Rays. I'm happy to see that the city of St. Pete and the county of Pinellas have approved the new stadium. It looks like they have themselves set up in pitching. They've got a bunch of good young pitchers. They've got some good young relievers. I think their pitching is fine. They just can't hit. Yeah. And I'm hopeful they can go out and find them some hitters. I also heard that had read that after their trades at the end of in July, they now got the #1 farm system. And the reason I'm hopeful they'll go out and get a hitter is when the Yankees first came here this year, Aaron Judge said that they had made him a decent offer. So I'm hopeful for that. And George, I'm glad to see you're back on the air and where we can talk to you. I grew up in Nashville, lived there 67 years. Listened to WSIX. I can't listen to the other stations. I used to listen to Kevin and Mark until that station fired them, and I deleted that station from the app. But that's all I got. And Danny, I'd like to hear what you think about the Rays. I think Cash and Leander are the best in the league.
Thanks for the call. Call us again sometime. Danny, take it.
Bill's near one of my favorite restaurants in the world, the Columbia restaurant in St. Pete. So I'm a big Columbia guy. But Bill, they're a model organization, and everybody thinks they're so analytics oriented. They're scouting oriented. Their analytics staff supplements their great scouting. Their player development's great. It wouldn't be in their DNA to go out and sign a hitter. They'll probably make trades and they'll make moves, and they're one of the best trading partners in the game. There's no way Tampa Bay is going to go away. Cash is terrific. Their front office is really good. It's a real good nucleus. You know, when you have a bad year and still win 80 games, that's a pretty darn good organization.
You got that right. Mike in Melrose, got a couple of minutes? Say hello to Danny Evans.
Hello, Danny. First of all, George, got some good news for you. I was in Atlanta all last weekend and went to the Comcast headquarters, and they said they are still working on your full refund due to their conflict with Bally's. And I did talk to the big wigs at the Braves, and they said there would be no more concerts until the Braves season is over. They got to kick you off.
I'm glad we got all that settled. Mike, thank you so much.
That is a great place to go to a game. The battery is just so electric. They do a great job down there. And I was fortunate to get on the pass list thanks to Mookie Betts. Going out west next week might get to go to the last game ever at Oakland Alameda Coliseum. That's I've heard it's not the best place to watch a game, but from what I've heard, they supported that team over the years. Did they not, Danny? They just got a raw deal for everything that I guess Al Davis, all he did to that stadium.
I can't wait to hear what you're going to say.
That is the worst ballpark in the game. It was the worst ballpark when I went there for the first time in 1982. I asked somebody in the clubhouse, I was 21 years old, and I said, you know, what do they usually do? Is there something going on, some construction? And one of the veteran players said to me, Danny, this is their big league clubhouse. This is it. And that was 40 plus years ago. It's a pit. It's a terrible place to watch a baseball game. I feel sorry for the fans there, but the ownership absolutely is really part of the reason why this team is moving.
Get a chance to see Kumar. Kumar pitched today. I think he was kind of wild. He had 4 walks and a hit batter. It only lasted 3 innings. Of course, my Rangers didn't help him out. I think the Rangers only had 1 hit. So anyway, gonna go to Oakland and swing over and see a game at San Francisco. So hopefully I have a good trip out there.
Gotta have the chowder. Gotta do the garlic fries and the chowder, Mike.
Danny?
All right, thanks.
We got to say goodbye.
Love you guys. Have a good weekend. And I know you're a Philadelphia Phillies fan this weekend, Georgie.
And I will enlighten Kelly.
I like it.
Okay. Danny
have a good
Evans,
one, guys.
Great stuff as always. We'll go to the break, and then stat of the day, where we are over for the week, is coming up next.
Bad questions.
Good afternoon. They've got this wreck to the side. It's flowing a little bit better in Madison. 65 southbound at Briley Parkway from this earlier wreck. 840 eastbound just past Central Pike. There as you travel through that section of Wilson County. Traffic's running slow there on 840. Again, going eastbound between Central Pike and the interstate. Give yourself a little extra time over there. It looks like a wreck may have just occurred. Whether you need a new roof repair, roof inspection, independent roofing specialist, check them out. IRSroofs.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you need to contact Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you are a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. Check them out today at pancoastbenefits.com or call 615-292-3400.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person that will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's the person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to get you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
Now, this is Greg Pogue inviting you to join Chris Sanders and me this coming Saturday as the Tennessee State Tigers open up league play in the Big South OVC Alliance on the road at longtime rival Tennessee Tech. The Tigers, under fourth-year coach Andy George, are off to a 2-1 start after winning both the John Merrick Classic in the season opener and then the Southern Heritage Classic last Saturday in Memphis. That's Tennessee State and Tennessee Tech, Saturday, right here on Nashville Sports Radio, WNSR. Pre-game show at 1 and kickoff at 1:30.
Underdog picks coming up. Pogue will check in and review a surprising weekend. I'll just say that after the results. Anyway, let's see if y'all can cut this schneid off for Stat of the Day, brought to you by Adam Whitehead Plumbing here in Nashville. If you have issues with your water heaters, bathrooms, kitchen sinks, water, or sewer lines, give Adam a call. 615-485-1534.
Okay, hold on. Before you put that out there, for the record, there is not a Nashvilleian who could have answered any of the three y'all have thrown at us.
Yeah, Billy, we don't need any chirping from the peanut gallery. You just need to, do what you do.
I mean, these
and let us deal with it, Hoss.
Y'all are acting like these have been impossible.
They have been impossible.
No, they're not.
The first one, we could have been here till 6 o'clock. We wouldn't have gotten it.
All right.
Billy, you couldn't have got any of them.
Relax. The Jets beat the Patriots last season, making it the first time since Week 16 of the 2015 season that the Jets beat the Patriots. Who was the quarterback for the Jets when they beat the Patriots in 2015?
Kelly, could it have been
Mark Sanchez?
Are you certain of it?
I'm pretty certain.
Okay, I like your attitude on this. Let's go with it.
Gosh.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick? Where were you going, George?
I was going in it's earlier. It's when Parcells was there. Remember Glenn Foley?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's all upset that Brian Callahan used the F-bomb.
I thought Fitzpatrick played football. I mean, what was that about?
And he's a former Tennessee Titan too, right?
He sure was.
Here.
I mean, that was some of the softest stuff I've seen from a former quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly, am I supposed to think that's some big new thing that word gets tossed out there on an NFL sideline?
No, because if that's the case, man, I had a bunch of them come my way.
Who was the worst to ever, as a coach, go after you?
Tom Moore.
Tom Moore went after me pretty good a couple of times. I don't just throw the short end. That's what we're trying to throw, son. I mean, what are you looking at? I mean, he tore me up a couple of times.
So I think he went on McAfee's show.
Tom Moore?
This week, yeah.
Oh. I wouldn't want Tom Moore chewing me out.
Let's hear how it would sound, Kelly. Real quick.
Billy, what are you doing, son? This is a gym shoe operation you're organizing here, son. Get yourself together.
Hour number 1 is done. Hour number 2 is going to be fun for one of us. Underdog picks. You need to be listening and watching, perhaps.
Nympho.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Since the Federal Reserve cut a key interest rate yesterday, Freddie Mac says the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage dropped to 6.09%, lowest since early last year. Wall Street liked all that. The major indexes closed strongly higher, the Dow and S&P 500 at new record highs. President Biden celebrating at the Economic Club of Washington.
The Fed lowering interest rates isn't a declaration of victory. It's a declaration of progress. It's a signal we've entered a new phase of our economy and our recovery.
A report by the Federal Trade Commission accuses social media companies like Meta, YouTube, TikTok of engaging in vast surveillance of their users, including children, for profit, while failing to protect their privacy and personal information. Total deaths in the Israeli pager explosions triggered across Lebanon are now at least 37, including 2 children, thousands injured, says Lebanon's health ministry. This is ABC News.
Not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Need cash help but have bad or no credit? Then you need to go to FastLoansAI.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 regardless of your credit score. FastLoansAI.com is one of the largest lender networks. Their advanced technology can help anyone get up to $10,000. Best part? Money can be in your bank account as fast as the same day. When you need fast cash, go to FastLoansAI.com. That's FastLoansAI.com.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Honey, the credit card bill came, and we're maxed out.
Maxed out cards, rent is due. We just need some extra cash to help us get by.
Maybe we should go to 27cash.com.
With our bad credit?
27cash.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with any type of credit get up to $5,000, and cash can hit our bank account as soon as tomorrow.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Here we go. From the Nashville Sports Radio Media Complex. Welcome back to the George Plaster Show. Call George now at 615-844-5600 and online at WNSR.com. And now, George Plaster.
Featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Watson Brown, Tennessee Sports Hall of Famer Kelly Holcomb, along with Gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
And we welcome all of you into the 5 o'clock hour of the show. Given that it's a Thursday in football season, it is time for Underdog Picks. On the right-hand piece of your screen, if you're watching, Kelly Holcomb is one of our contestants. Kelly, once again, say hello.
What's up?
Yeah, same to you. And the third contestant in the competition is Mr. Cool, Greg Pogue.
Oh, with his Brewer stuff on.
Yeah, look at him.
Wow. I see.
Those of you who are listening to this, he's got on a Brewer shirt. I'm not convinced it's, new. Looks like.
Hey, that looks nice. It looks dry fit.
You think so?
Actually, I every year for many, many years, my daughter Grace, every year I get I've probably got 20 different Brewers things, from toboggans to, whatever, gloves. So this is this year's model. Yes.
So, in all seriousness, were you watching last night when it happened?
Really?
I don't know. I mean, you're a man of so many talents and so many hobbies that I didn't know.
Well, I have 14 paid hobbies, so there you go.
Yes, you do.
I get a little piece from every one of them. No, of course I was watching, and
Okay.
and then you the one that told I wouldn't normally take any of your guest space, but you told me to call Danny, and I did.
Absolutely.
And there's the deal, and this is something I said as I started. We were delayed by baseball, the Braves, and pulling for them. Hey, if it's the Braves and the Mets, the Braves and the Brewers, and that 2 out of 3, that'd be crazy. Anyway, no, you know what it's like to be a fan. You live and die with it.
Oh, absolutely.
In my job, I never could be a fan of anything that I was around because I was covering it, right? And so, and I got to where I was pulling for people, that I like and hope they do, and then fans of my friends and everything. But the Brewers are the one thing in my life that I can say I am a diehard fan of.
Yeah.
And that goes back to when Robin Yount, and he came into the league in 75. He's my same age as me. Okay. And then the way they allowed Hank Aaron to come back there, they didn't have to do that. And a lot of people don't realize he hit more home runs for the Braves in Milwaukee than he did in Atlanta. 57 World Series champion, MVP. And so, and then 82, I went to all games of the World Series. And then I went 25 years without the playoffs. So hell yeah, 7 of 8 years, 2, 3, 4 division titles. You damn straight I was watching it.
So I've been to Miller Park. It's beautiful. I'm guessing you've been there.
Yes.
Okay. And there is next door to Miller Park, Kelly, is Potawatomi Casino.
Oh, I'm sure you've partaken.
I did the one time I was there, and I am told that every major league player has been to Potawatomi Casino.
I'm sure.
Okay, so Pogue, it is possible that the Braves and the Brewers will play each other.
Right.
You should be rooting for that because I think of the options right now with Atlanta and the injury stuff, I think they're to me the easiest out for the Brew Crew.
Yeah, and the Mets will go into it hot, and you've seen how they've played to get back to where they are in this place as well. By the way, 2 declarations today. I don't have a tattoo. If the Brewers win the World Series, I'm going to get a Brewers logo in 2024 tattoo on my left calf.
Oh, God.
On your calf?
Well, my casket, probably.
Pogue on your calf, man. Get it on your arm or something.
Good Lord.
But I mean, there's more to my leg than there is my arm.
No, arm. Please go arm.
Fine, I don't care. I'll get it on my pec.
Or you can put it around. You got that nice glove. You can put it around your belly button. That'd be nice.
And I can breathe in and out, and it'll expand.
We have a comment from Belmont basketball coach Casey Alexander. Do you go to a casino every time there's a game not in Atlanta? I'll say
that
this. It
yes.
seems that way, doesn't it?
Yes. That's where the story.
Yes, he does.
That's where the story always ends.
Oh yeah, go Cubs, Casey.
I informed on the air today, WNSR, that I'm going to all the games of the World Series. They can fire me. I told my wife that I'm going to all the games of the World Series. She can divorce me. And I told TSU you can find somebody else to do the games when I'm out of town. So there you go.
Wow. Seems like you've put the gauntlet down.
Yeah, I'll probably get divorced first.
Everybody would understand if she did.
36 years. Come on now. Give me some
messed up, George.
I hear you. I know it is. That was messed up.
Anyway.
My apologies to all. Do you have anything to do here?
I do.
No,
Let's
he's just sitting there listening.
Shut up, Kelly.
Gosh.
All right. Here we go. Let's review. Starting off with Kelly, his pick was FIU +5 against FAU. and that pick lost
38-20.
Thanks, Billy. Thanks for that reassurance. It's awesome.
Yep.
We
Tough,
suck at it. Me and Pogue's going to have to pick it up because I've never seen George be on top at the. I've been doing this for 17 years now, and I've never seen George on top in one of these silly underdog picks, and this is unacceptable, absurd.
Wow.
Kelly not happy.
No.
George, this weekend, won with Memphis plus 6.5 against Florida State.
Mempho.
Congratulations.
A former broadcast outlet.
Outlet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't know that, Pogue?
You did once upon a time Memphis play-by-play. I didn't know that.
Yes, it's back
he tells
before
us every
the
week, Pogue. How do you not know?
back before the Geneva Convention was agreed on.
Okay, lastly, Pogue, UCLA plus 3 didn't work out. Indiana won 42-13.
Oh, it was a butt kicking.
I know, and Kelly, you were that I should have given you that pick.
Well, George said it wasn't going to get to me either, so he was going to pick that as well. So, like, is UCLA that bad?
They looked like they were.
Did you see what their coach said preseason? He doesn't look like he knows necessarily what he's doing.
Oh yeah, I did. I did see what he said. He had word salad going on up at the podium.
So,
Sure did.
do you have a graphic that would
Of the
have the
standings.
standings?
I do.
Yeah, well, show it and then read it.
In
Read
first
it
place,
often. Read it more than once.
at the top of the heap in first place is George Plaster with 9.5 points.
2-1 on the season.
Second,
Can we get a more realistic picture of George for people that are watching this on YouTube? Because that does not look like George.
What? I think it's
No,
the
he
best
actually
picture.
looks like a
I guarantee
lawyer.
you, what he's wearing there, he rented or borrowed.
That's correct.
Pogue, that is so hurtful. It's the best picture that I've ever had taken. There have been some
But
bad
it's not a true account of you.
Well, okay. Under true account of me,
That red sweater vest you wore for about 28 years, I think you need to pull that out of your closet.
I think he needs to wear a red Knights of the Round Table where he's got his food on it. That's more of an accurate portrayal of yourself.
that's really nice.
are we ready for this week's order?
You know what? I mean, do you know what you're doing? You're the commissioner. Why are you looking to me for?
I'm asking if everybody's ready. Any other comments from the peanut gallery?
Who cares whether they're ready? Step up and act like the commissioner.
All right, this week's order.
What the hell's wrong with you?
We're gonna kick it off with Kelly. He'll lead things off. Batting second will be Greg Pogue. Batting third will be George Plaster. We got a comment in from Jimmy. George looks like Don DeVoe in that picture.
Wow. There's a story behind that.
Look like George.
I'm not sure that Jimmy's necessarily named Jimmy.
I love that Don DeVoe comparison.
Well, there's some history behind that, and I think Jimmy may well know the history.
Sorry, I'm pulling up a picture of Don DeVoe, if that's okay.
That's good radio.
Yeah. But that's this week's order. And looks like we're ready to kick it off. I'll find that picture later. And we're going to kick it off with Kelly Holcomb.
It's the end of time and the Mississippi River, she's a gold dry. The interest is up and the stock market's down and you're only getting
All right, what do you got, Kelly?
I need George to get off his phone and pay attention is what I need. I'm like E.F. Hutton. When I talk, you need to listen, George. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so since me and Pogue have sucked, and I'll just say me. I'm not going to let's don't put Pogue in there because he's had some pretty good picks. Mine have sucked. Mine have sucked. So you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to say Miller Moss and Lincoln Riley are going to go in and hand the Michigan Wolverines their second loss at the Big House. Give me USC.
Interesting. Kelly riding with Miller Moss and USC.
Well, now hold on a second.
Whoa.
What are you doing?
Southern Cali.
USC is the favorite, you idiot.
Oh, wow.
No. Are they really?
Yes, yeah, they absolutely
How did I miss
are.
that? Yeah, that's right.
I mean, that's a violation of the Geneva
That
Convention.
is a violation.
Kelly,
right
that's
there.
ridiculous. Come
My
on.
bad.
I
Are we
mean,
serious?
that's unacceptable.
That is unacceptable. I'm sorry. I am totally sorry. Let me look.
So you weren't going to take Michigan,
We
though.
got
You didn't
time.
mean to take
I'm
Michigan.
not taking Michigan. No, I am not.
Kelly, that's unacceptable.
It is unacceptable. My bad. I'm sorry. I obviously read it wrong. My
You
bad.
can say you're sorry, but you've got to be more prepared than that.
I do.
Did
have
you
to be
do
more
any
prepared. I
show
looked at
prep
that.
today?
He was very prepared.
I wrote a lot of stuff down. Okay, all right. Well, hey, it's a mistake. My bad. I'm sorry. I got to look at it again. Okay.
Do we need to pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves?
We do not. We do not. Give me, you know what? I'll do this. Give me Coastal Carolina to beat Virginia.
Okay. Coastal
there's not much meat on the bone. Oh, you are absolutely right. Hold on. Yeah, y'all are right. I was wrong. My bad. My bad, George. Sorry. That's $100 fine.
It is.
That's a
I'll
C
pay
note.
it.
Or 3-point deduction.
Correct. Sorry.
All right. So Kelly riding with Coastal plus 3.5 at home against Virginia. They are the underdog there, 1 o'clock at Brooks Stadium, Conway, South Carolina. All right. Up next, Greg Pogue.
You know, Pogie, that music sounds like what they played when The Godfather was in Cuba.
Brewers. I can't wait to see the tattoo.
What you got, Pogie?
You got nothing to worry about.
I'm going to go Brigham Young plus the 7 at home.
George is not happy.
Kansas State's first visit there. I mean, defensively, and I know stats this early in the season don't mean much, but they're 13th in the country in yards per play allowed at 3.8, and only giving up 236 yards a game, which is 13th in the country as well. I'm going to go with Brigham Young at home against Kansas State plus the 7.
I'm seeing 6.5 here, Pogie. ESPN bet. Are you okay with that 6.5, that hook there?
Why are you asking if he's okay? That's your deal.
I'm trying to make sure. I'll allow him to switch his pick if he wants to switch it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why whenever
Switching
you
a
ask me
pick.
these questions, it's never, oh, by the way, you want another half point. You're always taking one away.
I mean, that's 6.5 is my line. I'm just making sure you're okay with that.
BillyGambling.com. I'll get right on it.
Yes, sir. Okay, so BYU.
So, I mean, if he had said he wasn't okay with it, what were you going to do?
Well, I was making sure he still wanted that pick, even though it was minus a half point.
That's not the way this works, okay? This is not a democracy. This is a military junta.
Well, I'm the commissioner.
Billy.
Here.
Your first 3 weeks here have just been
absurdly abysmal.
Yeah, abysmal and inconsistent.
I'm sitting here with 0 points. I'll take the 6.5. Thank you.
Okay, so Pogie riding BYU plus 6.5 at home against K-State, 9:30 Saturday night. All right, last, George Plaster.
Kelly, you think when DJ Uiagalelei lays his head on the pillow that nightmare rolls through his head?
Because I've been there.
God. Boys, first of all, Pogie, you I'm not.
Okay.
Pogie, you took mine. As you know, I've always been a huge supporter of Kalani Sitake.
Oh,
I know. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I'm going Utah.
Mm.
Not a lot of meat on the bone, but it'll be another victory. Utah is just better than Oklahoma State. Take that and book it.
Utah getting 2.5 on the road in Stillwater at Oklahoma State. That'll be 3 o'clock on Fox. Game of the week, I think.
Book it.
A lot of people saying that's better than Tennessee, Oklahoma.
Book it.
That's a book it?
Yeah, I mean, after the third time, when you hear that 3 times, what do you think?
Yeah, say it one more
book
time.
It.
There's no book it that has been consistently right here of the last 2 years. So I'm good with it.
Yeah.
No, last 30 years.
Wow.
He has hit every now and then, though, Pogue.
I've won the championship, I think, twice in 30 years.
Gosh, I've never seen you on top. I'm serious with that.
It's not a great percentage. Nothing to be proud of.
All right, it's time to review as we wrap up Silly Underdog Picks Week 4.
Neither is your commissionership.
There's another look at the standings. George in first with 9.5. Pogue and Kelly with 0. So they got to get on the board this week. All right, to review. Go back to our order. Kelly is taking Coastal plus 3.5 at home against Virginia. Pogue is riding with BYU plus 6.5 at home against a ranked K-State. And George is riding with Utah plus 2.5 in Stillwater over Oklahoma State. Gentlemen, good luck this weekend.
You know what? Stuff it.
Yeah, Willie, stuff it. It's a joke.
I'll never forget the first time that Willie came with that. And gentlemen, good luck. And I was just like, whatever.
Whatever.
Pogue, enjoy being a champion.
Go Brewers.
See you guys.
Hey, where are you this week? Oh, I know where you are. You're in Cookeville.
Yeah, Tennessee Tech. Yep, looking forward to going up there. That's like yet another stadium that they've blown up and under construction, Tucker Stadium.
I might be there.
Come on.
Okay.
You can ride with me.
No. No, thank you.
Surprised you're going. There's no casino.
Wow. That's nice.
That's a
Put a
good
think
line.
on your feet, Pogue. I like it.
Yeah. Knock him off. Get him out of here. Kelly, we're going to go to the break, and then a good friend of mine is going to join us for a couple, 3, 4, 5 minutes to plug an event that I'd like the public to know about. And then you and I will continue the hostilities.
Nice.
You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-568.
Convenience and value, 2 words that we expect when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to deliver just that, both to our school partners and to our customers. Whether you're purchasing photos, yearbooks, class jewelry, letter jackets, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience easy, convenient, and cost-effective. Find out more at jhacompany.com or call 615-867-6345 for more information. JHA, one source, one company.
Star Physical Therapy was established in 1997 with one great mission: to serve. If you're hurting, don't wait to receive physical therapy. You don't need a referral to see their physical therapist, and early morning and evening appointments are available. Make the call to 615-673-1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. 1420 and get rid of that pain. Star Physical Therapy, the official health provider of Football Friday. Okay, we are back, and as I mentioned earlier, good friend about to join us, Michael Check, who is with Men of Valor. Some of you out there may be saying, what is Men of Valor? I will tell you that the legendary retired Channel 4 sportscaster Rudy Kalis, heavily involved in Men of Valor, helps them with a golf tournament every summer. Michael, if you will, first of all, thanks for joining us. Tell people about Men of Valor.
Hey, George. Thank you so much for having me. I just can't thank you enough. Yeah,
absolutely.
Our ministry, our ministry has been in existence, if you will, for a little over 25 years, and we're a Christ-centered, what I like to call have a reentry campus in Antioch, Tennessee. So, our mission statement defines us as Men of Valor is committing to winning men in prison to Jesus Christ and discipling them, equipping them for the future to become men of integrity as they reenter society, to become givers to the community rather than takers. And I say that to say we have an in-prison program that we minister to men, and then we also have, again, what I call a discipleship academy. It's a 22-acre campus in Knoxville that houses 93 men. And so we work with them in a variety of different areas. You've been nice enough to help support us. And again, thank you for having me here.
I know that you're disturbed with some of the things that Kelly has said about your golf tournament. So I'm going to give you a minute and a half to respond to some of that.
Yeah. Thank you, George. Kelly, I'm a huge fan of yours, by the way. I've followed your career and certainly love you on the show.
Yes, sir.
But I was listening to the podcast and the radio show. There was a couple different times that you gave George a hard time about being a so-called celebrity at our. And I just wanted to take up for George on that, and again give you a hard time. I think you might have used the words I wanted to throw up when I heard George's name associated with our golf class.
I actually did. I stand by those words, man. I don't understand how y'all got George as a celebrity in your golf tournament, but it's beyond me. So you go with it.
Well, isn't the real story here, Kelly, that on this radio show / podcast at this moment, that you basically commit to being a celebrity next year in Rudy's golf tournament?
Oh, wow. Well, Rudy's going to have to call me because Rudy's still holding a grudge on me because I showed up at his show one night and I didn't have a three-piece suit on. So he's still upset about that.
I think he's gotten over it.
Kelly,
we lose him there?
Yeah, he's kind of cutting in and out. We lost him for a little bit.
Yeah, okay. We'll get him back on here in just a second. What's going on? They have an event on October 1st that I want the public to know about. Kelly, the The speaker is Tim Tebow.
Okay.
And I've dealt with Tebow some a couple of years ago and absolutely loved the opportunity to get to meet him. So, Michael, tell people about the event. I know you're back on there.
Yeah, we are super excited. As you said, George, it's October the 1st. Festivities will start at 5:30. It's a gala event brought to you by our wonderful corporate sponsors of Sage Spring Wealth Partners and the Core Civic Foundation. And it's really, again, a party, a gala. So we're going to have a variety of different things. Tim Tebow is going to be our keynote speaker, and man, we are just fired up about it. Again, referencing some of the auction items as it relates to silent and live, we've got CeCe Winan tickets for her concert at the Ryman. We've got Michael W. Smith tickets. We've got Vince Gill concert tickets. We've got Predator tickets. We've got Sweet tickets at the Titans. A variety of memorabilia, signed, guitars, country music artists. And then also we've got an all-exclusive trip to Costa Rica for 7 days. And so it is, I'm telling you, it's just going to be one of these fun, awesome events. And then we also get to introduce people to the Men of Valor Ministry. So there'll be some things about us. And of course, it's a fundraiser for us, and it's a ticketed event as well. And you can get, we'd love, the great thing, George, and I shared this with you earlier today, is that we're all at capacity. Our goal was 300. We're already there. So we've opened it up to 50 more tickets. And if people want to come, they can go to our website, which is movministry.com.
M as in men, O as in of, and V as in valor. And I will say this, having dealt with Tim 2 years ago at a function at Cumberland University, I wondered going in, okay, is he really as good as advertised? And I will tell you, after getting to spend about 45 minutes with him away from everybody, what a good guy Tim Tebow is. Love dealing with him. If any of you out there have never heard him speak, he and I did a Q&A at Cumberland University that, first of all, I think both of us really enjoyed. It was fun. He's got a sense of humor. If you have never heard him speak live, you're missing a real treat. I'll kind of leave it at that.
Yeah, you're kind, George, to have us. We've got him plugged in for about 48 hours while he's here. He's going to speak to the men inside the prison, then us, and then he's also doing a gala event for us in Knoxville the very next night on October the 2nd.
So yours here is October 1st. The one in Knoxville is October the 2nd. Michael, leave us again with how a person, if they have not aware of it but would like to come to it, how do they do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just go to our website, George. It's movministry.com. And as you said, men as in M, O as in O, V as in valor, movministry.com, and you've got it there on the screen, but it's all, all registrations right there. You just click it and we'll get you squared away.
Michael, awesome. Thank you for taking the time to come on.
George, thank you. You're a good man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Anytime, Michael. Take care.
Thank you.
So, Kelly, when I met Tim Tebow 2 years ago, it was almost 2 years to the day. He obviously had gotten some sort of biographical stuff about me. Yeah. And one of the questions he asked me just floored me. He goes, I know you've got past history with Buck Showalter. Tell me about him.
Oh, wow.
And the deal was that Tim, in his baseball career, which initially I thought was kind of almost a publicity stunt, and it turned out it wasn't. He got as far as AAA for a short amount of time. And back then, Buck Showalter, I think, had just left managing the Mets. And so he said, I know you know him. Tell me about him. And I said, Tim, if you had ever made it up there, he'd have loved you. I said, because he wants guys who put their head down and play hard, who don't cause trouble in a locker room. And I said, the two of you all would have gotten along great. That was the thing that he wanted to talk to me about. Now, obviously, I had 40 million questions for him. And I don't know. It really went well. He and I hit it off good, and I thoroughly enjoyed getting to know him.
Yeah, I've heard he's a really good guy. I wish he was good for the NFL. I enjoyed it. People tried to make fun of him because he knelt and he prayed, but I really dug that. And we had a connection with Sam Weich because Sam Weich actually was working him out. And I talked to Sam about him a couple of times before Sam passed away, and he had nothing but nice things to say about him. I wish he could have made it a little longer. I don't know if he was an actual NFL QB, but I think he could have played something else because he was that good of an athlete, and he was big, he was thick, he could take some contact. You'd like to see him as an H-back or something like that, but I have not heard him speak. I've heard he's a really good speaker, though, like you just said.
Oh, he's a terrific public speaker. And that part I did expect. But getting the chance to get to know him a little bit was really cool. I know we need to go to a break. When we come back, want to pick Kelly's brain on an NFL quarterback issue. So stick around. You're listening to The George Plaster Show on 95.9 FM. As you might be able to tell, my buddy Stan Harrison, he's an Alabama Crimson Tide fan, but he's actually here to talk about Apple Collision Centers.
Hello, Middle Tennessee. I'm Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers, and we understand the stress it causes in having an automobile accident. We can help you ease the stress of the auto body repair process at our 3 locations. We're conveniently located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. We've got rental cars available, we have PDR technicians available, and we have windshield technicians available. Please stop by one of our places and see us if you need our services.
And by the way, when you come in his office, this just in, he's a sports fan.
You were in a crash.
Yeah.
Your kids were in the car with you.
We're very lucky to even be telling this story to you. Nikki treated us like family, and she was very caring and loving, and I'm just so grateful for that. She was somebody I could trust, and being a veteran, that's so important to me. My kids are going to have a better life now because I don't have to worry about those expenses that we were out. Your family has really created a legacy of trust, and I would recommend you to anyone.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2024 season. Spend your nights and weekends at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, throwback deals, live music, and more. Top talent will take the field at First Horizon Park against the AAA Minnesota Twins, Baltimore Orioles, Atlanta Braves, St. Louis Cardinals, Cincinnati Reds, and more. Tickets start at just $10 and are available now at NashvilleSounds.com. We will see you in Hit City.
If you're having plumbing issues, there's only one guy to call. That's Adam Whitehead. As a third-generation plumber, Adam was born and raised right here in Bellevue. Customers praise his professionalism, efficiency, and personability. Adam is known for his prompt response to emergencies and for providing high-quality repairs at reasonable prices. His expertise extends to various plumbing issues, including sink leaks, dishwasher installations, and outdoor water issues. Call him at 615-485-1534. That's 615-485-1534.
convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
Hey, let's get into some football stuff. Let's begin with a little bit of I wouldn't call it late-breaking news, but pretty interesting stuff. Billy?
Yeah, it's here in the last couple hours, Dan Mullen was on a podcast, and he revealed to the host that when he got fired from Florida, he told Scott Strickland, the Florida AD, to go hire Lane Kiffin.
Wow.
So, obviously, Strickland has already made 2 hires. He hired Dan Mullen. He hired Billy Napier. And a lot of times, ADs don't get a third chance to hire a head coach.
And I don't believe he will be given the freedom to do this one by himself.
That's why this Florida situation is a mess. Because, number one, you need
Billy Napier. An interim president.
Yeah, you've got an interim president. You've got an AD that probably won't be making this decision, but he's still employed. And you've got a coach that hasn't gotten fired yet. Now, they're probably waiting for a couple weeks here, probably when it's going to happen, but that is a mess. But interesting that Lane Kiffin is the guy Mullen wanted.
Yeah, well, you could do a lot worse.
And I think Florida should absolutely go after Lane Kiffin.
Right. But the question at this point would be, given what he has built Ole Miss to,
yeah,
if he leaves, would be him saying, I can't take Ole Miss any higher.
Yeah.
Correct. And I don't know if with what he's done in the last couple of years, like I would have never thought that Ole Miss would be where they are right now. Would y'all?
I'm with you. Absolutely.
I just never, when he took it, I was just like, there's only so much of a ceiling you can go with Ole Miss, but you know what? He can win it all.
He's blown past
absolutely
what all of us truly thought the ceiling was at Ole Miss. It sort of started years ago. This is one piece that I think was important. Vaught Hemingway, when I was growing up, was a dump. Vaught Hemingway really was no better than Dudley Field at Vandy. And Archie Manning led a huge fundraising deal to make that stadium more, with the Joneses. It seats about 60. Obviously, with them winning, now it's an everyday sellout. And then the other is that they have gotten a guy that I know pretty well because I did a game with him years ago. Walker Jones, former Ole Miss linebacker, is the head of their collective. Walker at one point worked with Under Armour and always loved Ole Miss, and he's leading their, whatever you want to call it, collective, and they apparently have raised a buttload of money.
Yeah, Tony Vitello fits at Tennessee just like Lane Kiffin fits at Ole Miss. There's before Kiffin was even hired by Ole Miss, I was looking at that thinking, man, Kiffin would be a great fit at Ole Miss. His personality, he was, I guess, grew up in California, right? I mean, he was born in California. So, but his fun and gun style, kind of a modern day Steve Spurrier, that fits Ole Miss. That culture at Ole Miss, it has fit him perfectly, and they were ahead of everybody in NIL, and you're seeing that pay off now. And I'm kind of with you, Kelly, and George. I know you would probably agree with this too, but that's a lot better situation at Ole Miss than Florida's in right now. You could argue they're one of the bottom of the totem pole teams in the SEC in terms of NIL. They don't have any organization.
But you can also say this: you can absolutely win a national title at Florida.
Yeah,
absolutely. But with this, I mean, he's the guy that's kind of started. Like we just said, I would never have thought that he'd got Ole Miss to where they're at right now. So he's the one that's kind of started that. So there's not as much pressure in Ole Miss as there would be at Florida. I've started this. Why would I leave? They're giving me everything I want. Plus, I can get players in with the NIL. I can do everything I want to do here at this place. And if I don't win, if I win 8 or 9 games, they're still not mad at me.
And ultimately, that's why I don't think Florida's thing when they do fire Billy Napier, and it's no longer a question of if, but when. And I would say if they lose at Mississippi State Sunday or Monday, my gut feeling is he's out the door.
Right.
Okay, so Kelly, the Carolina Panthers coach, and is it Canales?
Dave Canales.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So he comes out in the post game Sunday after they got clobbered again. They're not, in a league that whether you win or lose, most of the games are really competitive. Carolina's first 2 have been anything but competitive. So he comes out Sunday, somebody asked him, what about Bryce Young? Bryce Young is our quarterback. Well, suddenly the next day, Bryce Young wasn't their quarterback, which leads cynical people like me to say, okay, it's this owner who I think is a problem. Tepper, I think that's his.
David Tepper.
David Tepper, thank you. Tepper's an issue. He's kind of a loose cannon and has had some pretty stupid run-ins PR-wise. My gut feeling is he ordered this change. So here's Bryce Young, and I don't know what everybody thinks. I know coming out of Bama, I thought Bryce Young would do fine in the NFL. And yet, I don't know whether Bryce Young is just completely shell-shocked by what little he had to work with at Carolina, or if he's not the NFL quarterback that they thought he was when he got drafted. Kelly, your gut feeling, is this more that Carolina has caused this issue that's gotten him benched, or is it his bad play?
I think it's the reason that Frank Reich got fired, if you want me to be perfectly honest, because he's the one that drafted him. And I think the owner pretty much got mad at that issue right there. And it's like, this guy, because I've always thought Bryce Young was a really good quarterback. I liked him at Alabama. I thought they relied too much on him. When they weren't very good, they just went to passing the ball all the time because they couldn't run the football. And Nick Saban is all about winning. So I just think that they put too much on him. But there's been multiple guys that I know in the NFL have said to me, have you seen this young man? He's like, he's tiny. He's little. And I'm like, well, Doug Flutie was little too.
Yeah.
He's like, no, he's little. I'm talking about he's like 5'10", 5'9", just not big at all. Like, I think he got up to 200 pounds when he went to the combine, but like, that's just not who he is, and that's not his weight. And everybody just keeps talking. I've heard that from multiple people, George.
Right.
So I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that the owner's probably tired of seeing it. But there's not many John Elways. I always talk about that. You have to have people around you, and it looks like the Carolina roster is just totally depleted. And he doesn't have much to work with. And if you don't have much to work with, especially with his size, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. I think he's a good player, but I don't know. We still hadn't seen him on a very good team yet. And until that happens, which he might not ever get another possibility. I don't know. He might not ever get another chance to be with another team and be a starter. I don't know that. But I think the kid is a good kid. His dad was a sports psychologist. He's calm. He's emotionally right where he's supposed to be, but I just don't think he's with a very good team. And I can see it being a little bit of both. I can see it being a little bit of his play, and I can see it being the owner. And I personally think that that's why Frank Reich got fired during the season last year, because the owner was upset that they made that pick for him.
So there are 2 quarterbacks right now prospering in the NFL who were completely read their last rites as an NFL quarterback. Baker Mayfield, who right now is killing it in Tampa, and the even bigger shock to me is Sam Darnold in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
That's a shock to me. I've always said Sam Darnold, if you watch him play when he was at USC, he turned the ball over too much. which is what the Titans have going on right now. But he turned the ball over too much, and I was like, he was a first-round pick, and I'm like, I just don't see it. And up until this point, he hasn't shown anything. But now he's with a team that's not bad, and he's been in a lot of organizations. He's got a little bit of playing experience under his belt. So he's doing really well. You're absolutely right. And then Baker Mayfield, I always thought Baker Mayfield was really good coming out of college. He was accurate. And then when he went to the Browns, he kind of went backwards, George. I don't know where his accuracy went, but when he was with Oklahoma, man, I was like, golly, this guy can play. The guys play for him. He's an accurate passer. And all that stuff's coming back around now because he's got guys he can throw. The Godwin guy, the Mike Evans, he's got dudes he can throw to in Tampa, and they're protecting him. So, he's got a new lease on life, and he's looking good doing it.
And Baker came out earlier this week, Billy, as you know, and really tried to encourage Bryce Young. I also think it was a backhanded slap at Carolina, who completely blew him off.
They've ruined Bryce Young. I'm not saying his career's over, but when you get into an organization like that, hope is lost. With all the moves they made last year, at least in Carolina. Now they've made a move. Maybe Dalton looks a little bit better, but I wanted to throw Kirk Cousins in there too. Minnesota, maybe not the same level, dropped by the curb. Vikings kind of had to move on from him. But I think quarterbacks, Kelly, and you've seen this obviously, but I've seen that a lot this year where they get cut or they get, traded and they feel disrespected, and all of a sudden they've got a chip on their shoulder that maybe they didn't have the year prior, and when they maybe didn't play great. So like a Sam Darnold. Darnold after the game said, "You shouldn't have cut me." Some teams will take risks on that. Sometimes they don't work out. But, man, if it does, like Baker Mayfield or Darnold, you're in a really good spot because you've got a motivated leader, behind center.
Sometimes a different situation and a different scenery helps the guys tremendously. And obviously those two guys, you've seen that you put them with some guys that can play, and there's a right fit. I always bring up the Jim Plunkett deal. I always bring that up because he got drafted by the Patriots. He didn't play well there. Then Al Davis brought him. He won a couple of Super Bowls for the Oakland Raiders. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but it was just the right time and the right situation for him, and that's what these guys have had so far. They look good.
For the record, Kelly is on Jim Plunkett's payroll. If anybody's wondering.
I like me some Jim Plunkett. I enjoyed watching him when I was a kid. My mom loved Jim Plunkett.
After the break, plaster bet of the day, which all of a sudden is starting to make people money. Yeah, you need to pay attention. Stay tuned.
Good afternoon. They finally moved this truck out of your way over here on 65 southbound at Briley Parkway in the Madison area. Of course, the heaviest flow is going northbound on 65 in that area, headed up into Goodlettsville. Still slow over here on 840 eastbound, just past Central Pike. That's in the Wilson County area just before you get to I-40 there on 840 going eastbound. It really has been slow go out there for the last 45 minutes or so. Prince's Hot Chicken has new items. Check them out. PrincesHotChicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
The Tennessee Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to male performance, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom since 2014. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here there's hope. From the conventional to the next level, our friendly, discreet team of urologists and providers will take the time to listen. We even offer safe and effective treatments like size increase. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Hey, Greg Pogue here to tell you about my good friend Von Dotson and Keller Williams Realty. Cool thing about his partnership with Nashville Sports Radio is that his brother BOI Greg was a huge part of the plants rooted by this station as a good friend and active on-air participant. That is what Von Dotson Keller Williams is all about, being able to trust somebody with your best interest at heart when you're buying a new home. I trust Von Dotson at Keller Williams Realty. You can too. Find him on social media or just give him a call, 615-969-0820.
Bucks, cash, bread, coin, dough, bank, loot, cheddar, whatever you call it, the Cash Instant games from the Tennessee Lottery have lots of it. 4 great games absolutely loaded to the brim with top prizes from $50 to $1,000. Well, you get the idea. Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
It's the NFL on Sports USA, and we're in Los Angeles as the San Francisco 49ers head down south to butt heads with the Rams. The Niners have a pretty good offense with talent like Kittle and Debo. Stafford and the Rams can beat you with Kyron Williams in the backfield or outside with Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp walks into the end zone.
It's the Niners at the Rams next Sunday on Sports USA.
Coverage begins at 3 p.m. live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Breaking news out of Major League Baseball. Shohei Ohtani did it. He has now made history with 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in one season. Watching it live right now, he just hit a home run to give the Dodgers a 14-3 lead in the 7th. 50 home runs, 51 stolen bases now.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
He is a remarkable baseball player.
I mean, he hit that opposite field. Kelly, go back and watch that. It didn't look like he didn't even try to swing. Well, he swung, but it didn't even look like that was going out. But Ohtani is in the 50-50 club.
I would say right now, Ohtani is the number 1 player in baseball, and I would go
without
Bobby
a doubt.
Witt, probably number 2.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right. Bet of the day brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Give them a call, 615-242-9000, or log on to bartdurham.com. Take a look at what happened last night. Another win with the Yankees.
It's a commitment to excellence. Actually, 2 last night.
And the Mets.
And the Yankees.
Are you sure we got full credit?
No, you did. You did.
I don't know that we did.
I get caught up with when you make 1 bet, 2 bets.
Yeah, well, you know what? Deal.
It's your job, Billy. It's your job, Billy. Figure it out.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. So tonight we got some football going. And this is kind of a different way to bet. But I'm doing a 2-team teaser, teasing down both Appalachian State down to -1.5 and teasing down JETS to a dead pick'em. In a teaser, you have to win both sides to win the bet.
Okay.
That's what we're going with.
Okay, George.
Yes.
Have you ever been to the Jets game when Fireman Bill gets up there and does that?
No, but it's awesome, isn't it?
It's awesome. I used to turn around and watch him.
Oh, that's funny. That crowd really gets into that.
Fireman Ed.
Absolutely. Is it Fireman Ed? I thought it was Fireman Ed.
Yeah.
Ed. Dude, it's awesome because he tells everybody to calm down, and the whole place, I don't know how many people are there, but it goes silent. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I know you're not with us tomorrow, so you have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
See y'all.
Billy, you're not going anywhere. You and I have a show to do tomorrow that will include Football Friday high school coverage during the 4 o'clock hour, and then in the 5, we'll get into a variety of things. Thanks for being with us. See you tomorrow.